Where did Claire go? It looks like someone is looking for a project. What kind of project? Do you really want to leave the Wilson family? Elaine said angrily, isn't it just a little misunderstanding, just made a fuss like this, arguing to cut off relations with the Wilson family. What will it look like? Jacob was taken aback for a while and looked up and down Elaine. My wife, you went to Wilson's house, and you got confused by the old Mrs. Wilson's scolding? What kind of confusion? I'm not confused at all. Elaine sat down on the sofa angrily. Tomorrow you will go to Wilson's house with me and confess a mistake to the Lady Wilson. The Lady Wilson is your mother, and the eldest man is your eldest brother. The blood relationship will be retained as much as possible. Jacob's expression was not good, and he said angrily, they want to sell my house and rob Charlie's villa. They didn't regard me as Wilson family from beginning to end. If you want to apologize, I won't step in again. One step from the Wilson family is the best for me. Seeing Jacob, who had always been honest, had a tough attitude this time, Elaine was so angry that she turned to Charlie and said, Charlie, your father is a dead brain, you come to judge. With three of us, there was no overnight feud. You opened your mouth and said things that sever the relationship. This is too trifling. Besides, my pension also counts on the Wilson group. She is confused? She wants to seize my property, rob Charlie's villa, and said she wants Claire to divorce and marry another man. Is this confusion? Jacob became angry all of a sudden, stood up and said, you go to Wilson's house and they will give you a bit of mischievous soup, you believe it. Seeing the father-in-law and mother-in-law arguing, they both pulled themselves to judge. Charlie's head grew big. He quickly found an excuse. Claire asked me to pick her up, I'm going out. After speaking, Charlie hurriedly walked out of the gate, and there was a quarrel between the two behind him. It is difficult for an upright official to decide on housework, so it is better for him not to blend in. Charlie casually found a small restaurant, ordered a few dishes, and planned to mix it up at night before going home. This is a famous food street in Orus Hill City with many people. Charlie was eating, his eyes suddenly looked at the two figures across the street, and he was taken aback. Isn't that his wife Claire? Across the street is a very high-end restaurant. Across the floor-to-ceiling glass on the second floor, Charlie is seeing Claire sitting by the window, and a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes wearing gold glasses is sitting opposite. Claire was holding the materials and was talking to the man non-stop, as if she was introducing her own studio, probably because she wanted the other party to invest. But the middle-aged man was absent-minded, his eyes gazed toward her neck, neckline, and chest. He even wanted to touch Claire's hand by holding the materials. Fortunately, Claire's eyesight was quick and her hands were quick, and she drew away. Charlie saw an angry rush toward his forehead. This dare to hit his wife's idea. The waiter had just walked over with a bowl of wonton noodles. Before putting it down, Charlie stood up with a jerk, took out a red banknote and patted it on the table. Keep the change. The second-floor lounge of Yun Lai Hotel. Claire was suppressing the disgust in her heart, forcing herself to smile, and said to the man across the table, Mr. May, the company's future plans are written in the information. There will be development in the future. If you are willing to follow, I will cooperate. I will definitely give you the best project planning. Miss Wilson, I know your abilities. The middle-aged man showed an embarrassed expression. But now the company still has several projects under investment at the same time, so the funds are very tight. Claire was a little disappointed. She exhausted her tongue and talked with him for a long time, but the other party was still ambiguous, so she couldn't figure out the details. Seeing Claire's expression, the middle-aged man deliberately rubbed his hands and said, Actually, it is not impossible. I will discuss with the company's senior management. To be honest, I am very optimistic about your company. Or else at 8 o'clock tonight. Let's talk a little bit, and I'll learn more. Mr. May, this is not so good, right? Claire hesitated. It's late at 8 o'clock in the evening, and if we continue to talk, I am afraid that the results will come out late at night. I am a married woman, and it will not sound good to spread it out. The middle-aged man laughed and said, It's not too late. Investment is not a trivial matter. We no longer have a deep understanding of each other. How can we have mutual trust? I will invite you to have a supper and discuss plans. Come on, Mr. Wilson, for our future cooperation, let's do a handshake. After speaking, the middle-aged man stretched out his hand and shook it to Claire's small hand. A faint light flashed under his eyes. This middle-aged man was named Ping Mei, and he had long coveted Claire, the Orus Hill #1 beauty. Just because of the lack of opportunities, there has been no chance to start with this beauty. Now Claire actually found him personally, saying that she was disconnected from the Wilson family and wanted to persuade him to invest in her new studio, which made him irritated in private parts. He planned to take Claire down tonight and play with it.